I got you. I need a ring, dog.
The biggest problem in life is overcoming myself. But once I defeated myself, the only thing left was peace.
Niggas be talking like this shit easy and stuff, you heard me?
They do.
Nah, nigga, I make this shit look easy, you heard me?
See, sometimes people think they can be you better than you can be you. Every time they tell you down, I'm gonna beat you the fuck back up, nigga. Full of calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing. I'm in this face and you think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. Pushing. Pushing. I'm in this face and you think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. 252 on the ditch, I'm still in the kitchen. I'm cooking a 4.5. Pirates the Yola, Adelaide, soda, and Bubba. I double the 500 grams. My drunk got tested. How may I help you? I blessed him. I guess he just needed a blast. Not a good looker, but she a good hooker. And I'm about to turn me some trash into cash. Water just gush out. I'm off in the pussy. She needs some more cushion and bought her some eggs. Sequel components, Toyota Corolla. I'm hoping the load don't get caught on the slab. Nothing impossible. I had a few obstacles right back to clocking like I never left. My windows is tinted. My mouth and my watch go to hitting while gripping the wheel in my bed. I'm in 2 lanes. Women's insane. I had to take off the brain. I got some change. Travel 2 names. On the Blackberry doing my thing. I've been pushing them things. Pushing. I've been doing my thing. Pushing. Yeah. Took a lot of losses, had to bounce back. She got ass loving when it bounced back. Came back strong, had to bounce back. Applying pressure, watch a nigga bounce back. Pushing, I ball in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Like, what we gon' talk about? Ain't shit to talk about. I pull the calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pushing. Yeah. Pushing. I'm in his face.
Good job. You gotta stay alive a little bit better in the back.
I got my shirt on.
But good plane, right?
Got pissed off by that burrito.
It's all right. You got to fight, call for air support, dog. I can shoot that way too.
Patrolling his hat. If I get arrested, my bill could be said or whatever. Go right back and open up shop. Him and the jeweler come sit in my session. It look like the camera was flooded with rocks. I cut on the faucet. I'm really retarded. I bought all that water and I spill in the drop. You gotta be cautious. I'm clutching you crossing. That's why I put a permanent score on your top. Bought a new fridge. She got a big head like Rihanna. It's cute. I'm not taking a shot. Design on my closet. Pick up a deposit on Michigan now when I chill in the shower. Women's insane. I had to take off the brain. I got some change, travel 2 names. On the Blackberry doing my thing. I've been pushing them things. Pushing. I've been doing my thing. Pushing. Yeah. Took a lot of losses, had to bounce back. She got ass loving when it bounced back. Came back strong, had to bounce back. Applying pressure, watch a nigga bounce back. Pushing, I ball in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Like, what we gon' talk about? Ain't shit to talk about. I pull the calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy, yeah. Pushing. I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy, yeah.
Got you, Jay.
I've been fighting my whole life. I've been through hell. But to understand great peace, you have to have gone through great pain to thine own
Getting
I don't know about you guys,
live.
but I got fired up after watching that.
Did you proof that video before you got to the end there,
No.
Callie?
Oh, no, I
Perfect.
saw that. I definitely had that stuff for sure.
That's awesome.
That was nice. Very cool. Well, hey,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. This is show number 12. And normally you're used to seeing these kind of faces, some of the pro guys. But this week's a little different. We're actually going to be joined today by one of our successful divisional teams from Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Infamous. It's led by Cody Mickowski. So first off, I'd just like to say thanks for tuning in, and let's get right to it. Should we bring the guys in?
Yep, here we go.
Boom. We got the crew. Right on. So first off, let's do some. We hear everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Let's do some introductions. Kind of give us your name, where you're from, and little background.
There we go. Now we have
Another one.
everyone. Go ahead, Steve. Start out. He's
All right.
he's assistant coach, game manager, helps out with everything. Huge part of the success of the program.
I am just known as Jonah's dad.
Nice. Very nice. So is everybody here from Wisconsin, or we're from everywhere? Okay. Well, let's keep going. Where are we at?
Go ahead, Castro.
Castro's frozen. He's got 1G.
All right, Tyler, go ahead.
I was getting close up.
I'm blowing yours off. Is it still good?
No, you're good, man.
All right. I'm Tyler. I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin. I just got bored when I was out of college. I didn't have any sports to play after that. And I was just like, hey, that looks fun. Let's go do that. And yeah, here we are.
Right on.
So, Ryan Loy, Central Illinois, born and raised. Played a long time ago, took a long time off, came back last year. So, ironically, the last tournament I played, Travis, was 2004 MPPL Tampa. You guys made your debut.
Nice, yeah. The birth of Infamous.
It was the birth, man. And I remember the finals very well. Mr. Lasoya blowing people up over on the snake side.
That gun was ridiculous.
Hey, that was back in the good old days, man. So yeah, I've been off for a long time. Came back last year. 14 years off.
That's awesome. So are we gonna get Kyle back, or Kyle's on 1G duty?
He's
1G.
He's got a burner phone.
He's Thomas today.
I'll
Right
plug
on.
him in if he jumps back on, but he's out right now. So
Okay.
Okay. Cody, why don't you give us just like a kind of like a brief little team history, and how did this program come together, and where did it begin?
Sure. So back probably 3 or 4 years ago, I've always played a lot of paintball, and a lot of the local guys were looking for me to do private clinics and stuff like that. And I was more than happy to help them out. It was a lot of fun teaching guys. And then, I was watching them play and learn and grow, and, helping them out and everything. And they're like, hey man, you should start your own team. And I'm like, I don't know if I got the time for that. And, back and forth with, a bunch of other things. But eventually I talked to Travis about it, and Travis was like, yeah, let's do it. We started it up. So it really stemmed from probably, I'd say 6 or 8 local guys that play out of the Siege Paintball wanting to start a team. And then we hosted a tryout, and I was blown away by the amount of interest and players coming from all over to come try out for the team. So that would be 2 years ago in December, or a full year and a half ago. So Tyler Smith, he didn't even know that I lived in Wisconsin. He didn't even know that that there was any chance of something. He just showed up. He's like, yeah, I like playing paintball. I'll try it out. And that was that. And Ryan was, the kind of the opposite. He's been out of the game for a while, and he's like, damn, this field's only a half hour from my house. I don't want to play paintball again. So those are their 2 quick little stories, and, no idea who they were. And they just showed up at the field, and, just became part of the program instantly. And those two guys have been here from the start. So
for a lot of people that are just kind of tuning in, this is the Wisconsin Infamous guys. And Cody, I'm gonna ask you again, like, in the 2 years since you've started this program, you guys have had a ton of success. Do you want to take us through like some of the accomplishments you guys have already done, and like how were you able to do that in such a short time? Normally it takes teams like years and years before they're, ever to win events and do things like that.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. A lot of it just goes to those guys' hard work. We went in with realistic goals, and we went in and we achieved them. So it wasn't like we went out right away and we're like, we're going to be a semi-pro winning World Cup, right off the bat. It was, let's set up in divisions. Let's see where guys' rankings are. Let's start working towards these local and regional events. And then, then let's start focusing on NXL stuff. So the whole first year, there was a lot of local emphasis, trying to play as many local events as possible. And then the guys that were a little bit more experienced and could afford it, we were playing some NXLs. This year, the plan was to go in all NXL, but obviously coronavirus screwed that up for everyone. So, but no, I think the two biggest things to the success would be obviously like having realistic goals and then working hard, playing a ton of paintball, shooting a ton of paint. And, I really am lucky to have a great group of guys with a good work ethic. So.
Yeah. So, Kyle, we just had you join in. Why don't you give everybody a quick, where you're from and just the whole introduce yourself quick. Kyle's still on 1G lockout.
Yep, for sure. He can't hear you at all.
Boot him.
Right on.
Rookies.
Boot me.
Boot him.
I can hear you guys.
We can
Yeah.
hear you
Oh,
now.
you can.
I can only hear Cody. Oh, there's Ryan.
We can
All
hear
right.
you now.
Kyle, give us
Yo.
your introduction, how you came to hear of the Wisconsin Infamous program, and where you're from, real quick.
Let's see. I grew up in Chicago suburbs, moved to Wisconsin, started playing paintball a couple of years ago. Realized I want to get involved in like the best possible programs. Played with a different pro teams, like divisional team for a year. Had good experiences, but kind of left me wanting more, wanting a better experience. Knew Cody, was doing some of the clinics with him, and he started talking about putting together a team. And I said, I want in. I want to compete at the highest level. I want the best experience and the best leadership. And went to tryouts, met a ton of awesome guys, started building a great team, and been riding out ever since. I don't think I'm about to miss my first event.
Oh no. So, well, that's great, Kyle, because I think a lot of people.
I can't hear Travis.
Oh no. All right, that makes sense because I keep talking to him and he's not answering. So, I guess this question will be for like Tyler and Ryan. So, how has being a part of the Infamous program helped your game, and where did you see it sort of translate on the field?
Well, I know Ryan's been around forever. He's old school. But I think that's what's so great about the organization is that you have people that have been here in the sport forever, or you got kids like me that were pretty new. I mean, I was like 2 years in a divisional paintball program, like almost just doing locals and that's it, just for fun. But you can take that old school style, bring some new people in as well, and just elevate the team.
Yeah.
I'd have to say I've had, just kind of a similar question on a different program, and the answer is the same. It's always been, the fact that I was out for so long. It was coming in, adjusting, and really, for the first time, having somebody that's coaching. I was out for so long. It was. Oh, I'm getting kicked back real bad.
Go ahead. Keep going, Ryan.
Sorry, I'm just getting really bad kickback. Having somebody there to actually coach and to kind of adjust my play. A lot of different style now. The game's very technical, and I had to catch up to that. And Cody did a really good job of helping me to do that. And just being a part of the program where he's a easy guy to like work for and work hard for, because he's there pretty much every time that we need him to be there, just as a friend and as a mentor at the same time. There's no separation, but he's really good to communicate with, and is, like Tyler said, it's good to have a good mix of old guys and new guys. We have a good diverse group of ages and stuff like that. So
constant feedback loop from different perspectives, not just Cody, but also teammates, and being comfortable with each other to accept that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say, everyone's trying to help each other get better. You know, we all thrive on our success as a team and helping each other get better week after week, you know, practice after practice, match after match at events. You know, it's a really solid team focus of bring it back and let's get better always. Even after we win, how can we be better for the next event, for the next match, anything like that?
Yeah, no, you guys definitely have the right attitude. I'm still like amazed at how fast you guys have worked your way up. I mean, just recently, you guys tell me about, you just won an event like a couple weeks ago or last week, I guess.
Yeah, we were down at Pekin for MPPL #1 after the COVID thing. So hard fought tournament. I tell you what, the guys, we almost didn't make it into the semis. We needed a little bit of luck. We got it, and then we came back and won the next two games against two teams. One that had already beat us 4-0 in the prelims, and it was a good adversity test for a lot of people that hadn't been there before. You know, some of the guys haven't had to fight back and really feel that accomplishment after you win, after you beat somebody like that, and it was awesome. So
nice.
But to speak on the program in itself adapting so fastly, I think it has a lot to do with just, again, it has a lot to do with Cody. Cody's a driven paintball player, and that translates 100% into how he runs his program. And I mean, if you have those key things, it's not hard for something to take off as fast as it did, and it's just going to get better.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. When Cody's not around, is Jonah's dad up there just smacking you guys around, or who's
Yeah, Steve beats us a lot.
Steve's part of that feedback group.
He beats us cookies also.
Yeah, usually I'm the one that's since Jonah's been little and started paintball, my job has been get out there and record all the games. So all our practices, I record them, usually call them out, the lines, and that's kind of my job to help wherever I can. And I figured, if I'm there as a parent, I'm going to do whatever it takes, whether it's blowing up bunkers or calling games or videotaping. And the recording, I think, is definitely helped my son. And I don't know, I guess maybe Tyler and Ryan and Kyle, you guys can weigh in on it, because a lot of teams don't have the luxury of having every single practice filmed and then posted up. Jonah's got a YouTube site where he posts that stuff up and gives the guys links. And, the pros do it, soccer guys do it, baseball guys do it, football guys do it. I think everybody can learn from film, and I think these guys, I'll let you weigh in on how it's affected your gameplay.
So I'll weigh on that right away. Everyone knows the practice schedule for NXL events. Pro Infamous is typically traveling, whether we're in Texas or Florida or another paintball field playing another pro team. But you guys are here in the Midwest, battling usually one of the blast camp teams or whoever else you're at practice with. And when I'm at my practice, I'm taking stuff and building on it for feedback. And then I get to go and watch my divisional guys with the film that Steve records. So I'm able to actually take stuff from our pro practice right away and translate it straight to their practice that they're, playing in, which is huge benefit, I think, for any divisional program. And it really gives me an idea as a coach on where people are playing and what they're doing, and then gives the guys instant feedback on that first weekend on the layout.
Yeah, and that's a good point. On the pro team, we have the luxury of watching Go Sports matches at night, and we'll be like, okay, this is what impacted their game against the Russians, and we have them the next morning. But in divisional, I mean, it's awesome that Steve does that for you guys, because you may not have that Go Sports match to look back at, that night. And that's really intelligent. So if there's other teams out there that are, trying to figure out your guys' success, Steve's giving away some good ones over there.
Yeah, I think anytime you can film and learn, get the opportunity to watch it. So many guys on other teams, when we have a practice, they'll ask me if I can film them and send a link to them. And, I wish there were more opportunities for that at other fields, but I think I've started to see some of that catch on with other divisional teams, but you almost have to have a designated person to be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very beneficial in the fact that, once we're all practicing, we're trying to work on different things for tournaments. You're not paying attention to every detail, and it's easy way to look back and remember, like, all right, I think I did it this way. Oh, well, I definitely didn't do it that way. So that helps a lot.
It does show a few of the wipes once in a while, and Ryan's one of those that gets it. Or Kyle,
it ain't cheating if you get away with it properly, my friend.
Yeah, usually
I don't know what
Quitman
you're
is
talking about.
catching Kyle.
No cheating practice.
Something that Steve touched on that I think is a really big part of like the whole infamous organization is, he touched on like the family part of it, being Jonah's dad and being there and supporting his son and filming, and that's huge. Last season, all the national events, I was on a different line from Jonah and Steve, so he wasn't around our team quite as much, but one of our Canadian guys, his mom came to every single event, all the practices, and that's just going deeper into the whole theory of, infam and the family aspect of it and how much support, there is within the program and everyone who supports it. I think that's part of why we're successful too, is that we've got so many different aspects contributing to our success.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. A lot of people look at paintball as kind of just a hobby, and that's okay. But, some people want to play just for fun and others want to be really competitive and sort of take it to the next level. And you need that if you're gonna be buying in all in, you sort of need your family involved too. Your girlfriend, wife, kids, family, mom, dad, whoever. Having that support system is kind of what takes you allows you to get to the next level, and maybe they give you some outside feedback and all that. But what do you guys want to get out of the game? Like, what's in it for you? Like.
So I'll chime in before anyone joins the program. I always ask them the first thing, hey, what's your goal? What is your goal in paintball? And a lot of guys always say, oh, I want to play pro, right? That's realistic for some, and it's unrealistic for others. But the others, they're noted, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, man, like, I don't know if this is necessarily like the right thing for you in terms of pro player, but what is your other goal? And they're like, play at the highest division possible or something along those lines, right? The big thing in the program is how do you constantly get better? This is more of a sport and a lifestyle sport that we want to achieve the highest goals, right? So I'll go to Tyler right away. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you can treat it as a hobby, and that's fine, but you're not going to get to those higher divisions. I think you're going to see a roadblock probably around Division 3 if you kind of just have that mindset of, oh, this is something I'll do every third weekend. And that's fine, like totally okay. But if you really want to put in the focus and get further and get even better, that's where it's not a hobby anymore. It's truly like a lifestyle choice that you make, just like anybody else, any other sport that, takes it more seriously. I know it's kind of silly, but no, like, hey, Todd, what are you doing on the weekend? Oh, I'm going to go play paintball. Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You've got to really commit. You've got to commit fully to it. And you've got to have people that support you. I definitely miss. I've got friends that I haven't seen in quite a while, but that's because I spent every single weekend at the field last year. And we traveled for practices and we traveled for tournaments, and I certainly missed on some opportunities to do cool, fun things, but that's because I was all in on the program. I know that I want to play at the highest possible level. I want to compete with my friends and my teammates as hard as we can. And we've got to put in the work to get there to be successful, because nobody wants to just show up at an NXL event and pay a bunch of money to get there and just get rolled. That's not fun. We'd much rather work hard, work harder than everybody else, and then find success while we're there. And that brings us closer together.
Yep. And Kyle, I noticed that you are constantly helping out, like hardworking from the second you get to the event until you leave.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed that, you're a lot of times you're in our pit and some people would be like, oh man, that's a rough job. You got to, run here and grab this and do this. But I know that you're there because you're soaking it all in, right? You're learning, you're seeing different situations, how people are reacting, and, just being a part of the whole scenario.
Probably the most unselfish
invaluable.
guy in the group, without a doubt.
It's invaluable. You immerse yourself into something wholly, and especially at tournaments and stuff like that. When we're all there for those 5 tournaments a year, I tell my work, I said, don't call me, don't text me. I'm off. I'm gone. Figure it out by yourself. I'm fully immersed from when we get to the field to when the sun goes down and we leave, because I think that's where you can get the most from it. Tyler said it's got to be a lifestyle. Cody's mentioned it's a lifestyle sport. It really is. And I think that the more you put into it, as everyone says, the more you get out of it. But it's 100% true. Running pods, it's not glamorous, but being in there, listening to you and the way you talk to the pros about how they have to adjust their game plans and how, what they have to do to win is the same stuff that comes back to our pits, when we're playing divisional, and what we need to do and the changes we need to make and the focus we need so that we can win.
Right. And I know that this goes back. We actually all learn from each other too, because not only do we sort of put the codes out and the bunker names, but we're all and it's between all of our different teams. Whether it's Thomas and his group or Cody and his group or the pro group, we're always like, hey, did you guys see this bounce shot, or did you try this, or hey, we found something new or different. It's we're sort of crowdsourcing that whole information and getting it back to our group as a whole.
Yeah, our 2 architects on the team usually help draw up some lines and stuff.
It's easy.
Which is Jonah's dad and Ryan are architects sitting in the room right now. So there you go, Tyler.
Working on a deadline as we speak.
Tyler's obviously a YouTube star down there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
He's got the whole setup.
Actually, I'll wrap that into Travis's last question actually too. I think if you're gonna play a sport and you want to play at the highest level, you absolutely have to figure out what it takes 24/7 to get to that level. And I'll tell you, it's been a lot harder now getting back into it with being 36 years old this year, architect career. It's hard to get time off, hard to get whatever. So if you want to get to that pro level, and not a lot of people can, then you better bust your ass while you can, because it only gets harder once you get older. Trust me. And I know a lot of the guys on the team have those aspirations of playing pro, whether it be for Infamous or any other team, but it doesn't get easier. So, take it while you can get it and run with it 100%.
Oh man.
Looking good,
Absolutely.
R.I.P.
It makes me wish I would have started the show.
That's a nice look.
This is the first time I'm seeing this photo.
No, it's not.
Hopefully the last.
Oh, that's gold. That's gold right
So,
there.
Dad in the background.
Sorry, now that we know what Steve and Ryan do, Tyler, what do you and Kyle, what do you guys do for a living?
I just sell phones. I sell a lot of phones. That's what I do. That's it.
Let them rip. All right.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Tyler, I used to sell phones. That was my old career. But now I actually I manage a couple hair salons in Milwaukee, and I don't do hair, I don't cut hair, but I'm in charge of a bunch of people that do, and it's chaotic.
We can
That's
tell
cool.
you don't cut hair.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool in paintball to kind of learn what other people do, because people come from all walks of life, and when you do want to commit and get to the next level, like you guys obviously are, it's interesting to hear, hey, yeah, I manage hair salons, and guess what? I'm playing paintball and doing this, every other second of my life, which is cool. So when I asked you guys earlier about sort of what do you want to get out of it, and I was kind of fishing for that, I just want to win, that kind of attitude, because you guys won a massive event. Like everybody dreams of winning the World Cup. You could lose pretty much every event the whole season and win that, and you could just ride through the off season. So those of you that were there, maybe you could tell me a little bit about the World Cup experience and what that felt like.
Watching that.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Go ahead, Tyler.
No, Steve, take it away, man.
Oh, I was going to say, watching that J-Win video, a couple of the guys knew him before the event and hit him up and just asked if he could follow us. And as that whole event kind of unfolded and we looked at, our chances of even just getting out of prelims, it was so bleak. We were down. We were second to last in our bracket, and we had to have a team lose to Blast Camp to get in for us to make it. And that was on Friday, and we're watching last day. And somehow a team goes up 3-0 and ends up losing 4-3. So we slide in as a number 16 seed, and we're thinking we got nothing to lose. And some of the guys are thinking, well, we played Grit, the number 1 seed, we're the 16 seed. You know, we hit Cody up that night and said, Cody, we got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. Let's be aggressive. And so Cody schemed up some plans. And when it hit 7 in the morning, we were out there playing Grit. Took the first game. They had a penalty. We took the second game because they started a body down. And all of a sudden, we're up 2-0 on a team that if they just beat us, they win the series for the entire year. Instead, they lose. They're out. They don't get anything for the year because of us. We go on and play CEP, Padres, and then finish it off with Brawl. It was just a magical day. And Cody was just putting the governor on us the whole day. Guys, don't get too hyped up. Guys, don't yell too much. Guys, get your rest. There's 3-4 more games yet. So obviously he's been through it before. But I mean, that was just an epic day for everything. Tyler, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Everything really on that morning, as soon as we played that first point against Grit, we knew that everything that we'd done that whole year had just kind of lined up perfectly. Our attitudes that morning, we were hyped up, but we were focused and had that professionalism to not lose too much control. But just taking all the lessons that we learned throughout that whole year and applying them in that one moment made that happen.
That's cool. Yeah, that's it's an amazing experience winning an event. Obviously winning cup is like the ultimate of that, because like I said, you get that whole off season to sort of just remember that. It's not like you win Vegas and you got 6 weeks and you're back at it. That one's a nice one to kind of ride off into the sunset with. But so obviously that was a super strong finish. And then, you know, take us, you know, into Vegas. Like how did Vegas go for you guys?
Whoa. I mean, not great this year for sure. And it sucks that, you know, Corona hits and that's the one event we get to sit on for a while. We get to play some locals, which is cool. MPPL is a great series. If we do MSXL, that's awesome. But leaving NXL on that sort of note, going from this high and being super confident, almost a little bit cocky going into that event, and then just leaving as a catfish bottom feeder, bottom of the barrel. But I mean, it sucks, but it's also the way that works. You know, we won Division 2, and yeah, that's great, but you haven't done anything yet, man. That's Division 2. Step up to semi-pro. These levels get exponentially harder as you move up the divisions, and you know we learned that for sure. So keep the confidence up. But
Tyler, I think we can relate it to last year too. Think about, we took brand new team to Vegas, got walloped, lost teammates, changed divisions, took a season, took an event off, came back to Chicago, and you guys ended up winning World Cup. So
yeah.
Hey.
Yep. It's a constant learning experience, and we're going to do the same thing this year. So
that's right.
Still a high note, even though
we got World Cup. Hey, let's go.
And consistency is really key on that one. You know, they touched on a couple of things. I played most of my all season. I played D4 for all the national events, so I wasn't in the same line as those guys. We helped each other, and what was really interesting to see is, you know, with some of the lower division guys, we found our groove. Come Philly, you know, we made it to Sunday. We were hyped, and that was super cool. And we I believe, if I remember right, we came in like 5th overall. So that was like, we won our first match, lost our second match, but it was a whole new experience for most of us. We came into Chicago. We had 2 lower division teams, both made it into Sunday. Both made it in the second round. I think there was a bigger bracket or bigger pool for that event. I think we came in 12th overall, but we carried the same guys from event to event. Took that into World Cup, another top 8 finish for World Cup. And then keeping a lot of that same roster, we worked hard over the off season. Had a couple of guys. We have a handful of guys in our line that really commute, so we didn't see them that much over the winter. But when we had mandatories, they came through, and that was awesome dedication. But then going into Vegas, we had such a strong team and a core within our own line that when we made the jump from D4 up to D3, we kept that same intensity, and we walked away from Vegas with a 5th place finish, which for moving up a division for us, that was we're really super proud, so obviously all the Corona stuff is a bummer because here we are thinking like, man, we got something going. We added a couple guys in, but we got something going here. We've got some amazing chemistry. And I think that's one of the things that makes our team so dominant in all of the divisions and all the events we play, is that we build this amazing chemistry within our team where we can instinctively play off each other and know how to push each other to be better.
Right.
So it's a bummer that, we hit a road bump in this locomotive that was going, and, we went to Vegas saying like, it might be this one, it might not be this one, but it's going to be this year. So now we're a little derailed for now, except for regional events. We still smoke our awesome regionals.
So Cody, what are you as a coach sort of have as goals for these guys and I get it, like Corona aside, there's a little speed bump in there, but call it 2021 kind of goals are you setting for the guys moving into semi-pro?
Well, the quick backtrack just a little bit. For people that don't know, Wisconsin Infamous does have several different lines. So we typically run 2 teams at every national event. And then in terms of regional events, we just typically put in 1 line, and we play anything that is close by and stuff like that. So our, like what Castro just touched on, obviously our Division 4 team last year made 3 Sundays throughout the year in X-Ball. And then going into the Vegas event, they did extremely well, and they made it very deep into the quarterfinals at Vegas. So, but with that goals going forward, the team operates as one big organization. Guys can be moved up and down at any time. So it's a constant competition to see who's playing on what line and stuff like that. I like to keep the lines as concrete as possible, but anytime I see a change or need to make a change, I will do it. So when we're out there practicing, we are, bouncing guys around different bodies, different lines, trying different things. And also one of my favorite things is to make people play spots they don't like playing. I often tell them when they're like, all right, I don't really go to the snake. I'm like, yeah, well, Travis really doesn't tell me where I'm playing until I get to the event. So suck it up.
I think Cody's first year on Infamous, I had him doing all kinds of stuff. Remember the bang raid plays?
It's definitely been picked up by him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it adds to players' versatility. It adds to a coach's arsenal. It really helps that you have guys that can play every spot, so that you can count on certain people to do things, and then if it's not working, you can go right back to something different. So, goals for the future is obviously just to continue building players, building the program, and winning events. But in reality, my goal is to make pro paintball players. Not to throw, but like John Kurzawa, who plays in Seattle Thunder, he was a young apprentice under me for a while. Some of the Boom guys in the Energy Elite now, Elliot Weaver and Jason Dennis, they played with me and trained with me a long time. So now I actually got a team, a name, a program, and eventually want to make all these guys who want to be pro players. So
that's cool. Back to the team, guys. I have a pretty interesting question. But everybody is sort of going through this struggle of, increasing divisions and getting better as a player. What are some of the biggest hurdles, for divisional players in today's game?
Ooh, I'll start this one off. I think it's life, man. It's keeping your squad that you are vibing with and successful with, and you build that consistency, keeping them together. We're all about at that age where life is changing a lot, and so grateful for all the great life changes that everyone has, but keeping that vibe together, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. Because you take a couple guys out of the roster, and then it feels like a different team, and then you got to restart what was already working. So, I'm gonna say that one for sure.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, lifestyle, man. It's a lifestyle. Like you got to pick the people that come to the tryouts and that have played on the team for a while that see this not as a hobby, but as that thing that they're going to do and make part of their identity. And then you just roll with those guys because they're going to be the ones that are with you through everything. Losses, getting knocked out in, semis or not even making Sunday, they're going to be there.
Ryan, what kind of hurdles you got over there?
I'd say I'll answer it two ways. One in general and one for myself. I'd say the biggest hurdle for me was and still is just the technicality of the game right now. Just because it's changed so much, I'm still having to adapt to the way that X-Ball is played. I played X-Ball for the first time last year, so it was a really quick learning experience, and I'm still on that path. But I would say in general, if you're going to say what's the biggest thing for divisional players, it's definitely commitment, and that commitment to not just the team, but to actually being a better paintball player every chance you get. Go out and drill. Go out and take the time to, even if you're not with your team, to do those things that are going to make you better. And I think a lot of the divisional guys get stuck on that. It is an every other weekend thing, or it's just for fun or whatever. But I mean, if you really want to get to that level, then you need to treat it like a sport that it is and be an athlete and take care of your body. So,
and I think, Travis, you being an owner, if you can figure out a way to make the game cheaper for all of these kids, it's so hard. When I look, especially with coronavirus, some of these guys have lost their jobs and they didn't make much to begin with before that. And you throw that in, and it's so tough for a lot of these kids that Jonah's been friends with or played with alongside of him for years and years. And, I've had parents come up to me and say, I don't know what my son's going to get out of this. I don't know what good it does. And I look back and I think, Jonah's been to Prague with the NXL media. He's been all over the world. He's got friends all over the place. And there's so much to be gained from this sport that it offers so much. But the other side of that is that it's so expensive for the kids, and it's really tough from that standpoint.
Yep. No, and that's a lot of the reasons why we have sponsors and get our sponsorship stuff in alignment, in between the off season and the regular season, so that we can sort of try to bring the cost down and make it a more enjoyable experience for the guys. But as far as like that turnover and getting the same crew together, I mean, we have that same challenge at the pro end. It's like guys have babies and retire, and you got dudes quit to go play for money for another team, and it's a constant struggle. But I do think that Steve, to answer your question, is when people say what is my kid going to get out of this, and why do they do this? I mean, it's a team sport. Whether you're playing basketball or hockey or whatever it is, a team win. There's nothing greater, right? It takes the entire mental of that whole squad to be on the same page and all executing the wins. So
yeah, no doubt. It's
valuable life lessons.
I mean, when I grew up and played football and basketball, hoping my kids would follow in my footsteps, and my son wants to play paintball, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And he finds his first team from a Craigslist, and I'm thinking, where is this going? And at the end of the day, we're 8 years into it now, and some of the best experiences I've had in life that I've fostered through my son bringing me along for the ride and seeing the joy and in the low sides when you don't win anything. And it's been a roller coaster, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh yeah, it's character building for sure.
I think there's something said to that too, Steve.
Oh my gosh.
That goes back when he was 13 years old. He wrote us a letter, and he said, Dad, Mom, I don't know how it goes, but he said, there's this one great gun that I want to buy, and it ended up being an infamous gun that some guy in Canada was selling for like $700, and he wrote us this letter and said, Dad, I'll never ask for another gun after that. Well, you can only imagine where that went, but he had a lot of convincing to do for his mom and I, and it's kind of crazy. He's on an Infamous squad, and his idols were Nicky Cuba and LA Infamous and the Infamous gang, and he accomplishes World Cup with the Infamous group.
Nice. That's great. That's a cool story. I think it's awesome that you guys get to spend so much quality time together too.
It is.
You know, like we did talk about the Infam, and you know, my mom used to come to like every single event when I was playing, and you know, even when I didn't play, sometimes she still came. But you know, it's great to have that support system, and you know, you see it with you know, Samantha, Cody's wife, comes to all the events, and she brings the kids, and you know, they're hanging out in the VIP, and you've got the Chongs, right? So Cody's, you know, mom and dad are there, and so it's on and on. The Taylors, and it just makes it so much better of an experience. You have that family support, so it's cool.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So switching gears, are you guys aware that Cody is going to be on the Ultimate Shootout?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we stop talking about it. You know, I'm just.
Have you guys ever played? Does Cody make you do one-on-ones at practice? Have you guys played them yet?
All the time.
Yeah.
If there's
you guys beat him?
Seldom a practice where we don't show up, and he's like, oh, you know, and you know, we're all getting ready and you know, having social hour, and he's like already on the field. You guys gonna play some paintball or what? Who's ready for one-on-ones? And then sure enough, you know, like lemmings, we're out there, and then we're all getting dinked out, and it's like, all right, I'm ready to play now.
Consistently, we're the team that's out there on the field first, doing one-on-ones before people don't even have their arm pads on.
Yeah, that's true too. That's a big Cody thing. Is always
Snap
first
drills.
on the field, last one's off.
Yeah, hard work.
That's good. So who beats Cody's in the one-on-ones?
Everybody.
Sunday, yesterday, we went out and played a little paintball. Not a mandatory practice or anything, but we had probably 13 guys show up, right around there, 12, 13 guys, and start out the day, and I said, hey, who wants to go to the other side of the field? And there's 3 different guys rotating in. I did get shot once, though. So pack later, I came off the field.
So, Cody, are you doing anything to train for that? I talked to Paulie, Greg's, you know, one of the guys putting on this event, and he said that every single dude that played it, whether it was, you know, Meter, BJ, or whoever, they were super gassed. So, get ready.
I heard it was going to be cold down there.
Yeah, none of those guys practice and train in the Midwest where it's typically cold and uncomfortable for 80% of the year, yet we're still out there working harder and grinding harder. So, all the southern warm temperature, let's play paintball in the 70s for 90% of the year. Those guys got it easy. They don't have to put the work in.
Jesus, guys.
I'm taking it serious. I gotta, stop drinking so much quarantine beer. I'll be out at the field training. Harrison Fry's coming to town this weekend. Him and I are playing a little 5-man mechanical open tournament on Sunday. But Saturday we're gonna head out to the Siege and do the one-on-one shootout thing, and hopefully set up simulation field. And I'm sure any Wisconsin guy who wants to take on a challenge, he'll be out there playing too. It's exciting. It's a new format. It's something to do right now with the current situation, and looking forward to it. So, Alex, the guy in the background in Ryan's video there,
Alex is here.
He was a challenger yesterday. It didn't bode too well for him.
Are you guys setting up the buzzers and everything? Are you playing it like the actual format?
We're gonna try. We don't have buzzers, but we'll do like a 55-gallon drum out there, and we'll make do. And so hopefully we'll have some videos to share from that this weekend.
Very cool. I see Patty Wood is in the chat. That's, for those of you who don't know, that's Callie's mom, and she's going back to the family comment, and she said that she used to drive Callie and J-Rab to practice on the weekends. So that's a pretty funny story.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for driving me to the field. Yeah, she had to put up with all of us. It was terrible. And Kylie's in the chat too, watching. She says, family's everything, and definitely helps with getting out there and playing all these crazy games and traveling and all that. So without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you very much.
So I see down in Ryan's window, I saw like someone waving their gun around.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, it brings me to equipment.
Ooh.
Obviously, you're getting ready for the mech event coming
Yeah.
up.
I'm gonna make sure that Cody gets shot before he goes and does his down south thing.
So back to equipment. I know we have sponsors
Bring it on.
in this whole thing, but do you guys have any like certain favorite equipment that you guys use, or whether we have to use it or not? You gotta have a favorite something or other.
EMEC is the best gun I've ever shot in my life.
All right,
it's nice.
It's better than your CS2 or whatever you use the NXL.
It's for what its purpose is. I think I like shooting the mech better, but they both shoot great.
Yeah,
both
cool.
Jam packed with the infamous trigger and barrel as well.
PE's got something for everybody, which is I love that about the brand. I'm so pumped that they've got that GO4 coming out. I'm a big CS1 guy. I love that stretched feel. I like the balance it gives me. I like the length, and just to have a refresh of that model, I'm hyped.
Yeah, that was cool about that.
Travis, there's one thing you guys don't offer yet, but one of Jonah's rituals is wearing Allen Iverson socks. But if you've got any Infam kind of socks or something like that, it might be a test balloon you can throw up there.
I'll put that on the list. Fishing. Socks, sock life.
Infam socks.
Got it. It's on the list. No, I don't want to jump ahead of you, Kyle, but speaking of Planet, Friday night or Friday afternoon our time, because they're in London, but we have Leds from Planet Eclipse on the show on Friday, so that'll be pretty cool. Do you guys want to tune in and ask Planet Eclipse, yo, when's my infamous LV1 coming or whatever? We can throw them some questions.
LV2?
Kyle,
what's your favorite equipment?
Oh man, it's up above me. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm rocking an old school CS 1.5, the numbskull. It's got the sugar skulls on it. It's super cool. I don't see anybody else using that gun. And it's the smoothest shooter on the team. Whenever anyone else's gun goes down, I'm always like, yo, take my gun, it's better. And they're like, yeah, the thing's really good. So
Kyle and I are the CS
consistent
1.5 guys.
Yeah. Everyone else is using their their this and that and whatever, but Tyler and I have zero gun problems, and those things always work, regardless of the conditions. They're workhorses. So if I could get like a new version of of that same logo and design with the numbskull on it, I would get one of those.
Yeah, I have to say the PE guns. This is the first PE gun I've ever owned, and they shoot great. They shoot awesome.
Yeah, same.
Cody,
it is pretty cool. At practice, I see our guys turning points quick and going back out there. They all have powerhouse regs. They all have some sort of an Eclipse gun. It really shows the durability of those guns and how well they work. Something that's kind of cool with all my guys, and some of them have came into the program at different times, and we've always had different releases. But like I see like 5 different skull masks out on the field at like one time. It seems like there's like the titanium one, the ghost one, the black one, and everyone's like got a different style. Yeah, skull mask, and I'm just like, all right, we just got a bunch of skulls rolling around.
Yeah, I wish this Corona thing would back off so we could introduce some of our new collab stuff we got working with Push right now. I'm just waiting for this COVID life to end and give us a little break.
Man.
I'm digging the new
give
pads.
us a hint, Trav.
The new pads.
Oh, right on. Thanks. Thanks.
Pads are great. They're awesome.
Yeah, when you've got guys like Cody and you got guys that are Thomas, you've got like everything in between, right? You got guys that are constantly diving and crawling everywhere, and you got guys that are like, want the lightest, breathable kind of form-fitting stuff. So I think we got a good mix of that with the protective.
I agree.
The gear is the most comfortable gear I've ever worn.
Right on. So I guess we're kind of come up to an hour here. Cody, is there anything else, or guys, you got anything else you want to kind of say or take us out?
I'll just give a shout out to Jonah's mom for always bringing cookies for us to bring
The moms of
to the
paintball.
events.
Shout out.
So, Callie talked about
Yep.
his mom driving and so forth. And Jonah's mom has always been the bomb for bringing cookies when we were with other programs. That was always our ritual, and we've just carried it through. And now it's kind of taken on a life of its own. But we want to give a shout out to her.
Absolutely.
Right
Yeah, that's
on.
awesome.
Right on.
No, like the last little feedback I have is, the program's been super fun for me. Watching these guys grow as paintball players and then getting myself better competition, at the paintball field is always awesome. But, it is truly a family thing. It's, all of these guys have been to my house before for a barbecue. All these guys are welcome to stop by anytime. We truly operate as a family. And we train together, we play together. We've all gone out together. It's a fun, hard-working environment. And if you put all those things together in like a paintball program with the proper sponsorship, proper leadership, you can really succeed and go far. So, we're just going to keep it going, bring on 2020, the rest of it, or whatever that will be. And then 2021. And, Tyler, congratulations. He's got his future wife pregnant, right?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
They get to hang out at home while I play ball.
Yeah. So he actually has to miss World Cup, but it's just one of those cool environments that we have, and we look to continue it forward. So
We'd be remiss too if we didn't give a shout out for Cody. I know he's got a family just like you, Trav. That he's got 4 kids, and I don't know how he does it with his own business and vending. He still finds time for the guys to do all of the things that he has to do at an event, as well as during a week, and to give up the time that he is given for the guys is just tremendous. It speaks volumes to who he is as a person and how committed he is to the sport and growing the sport in the Midwest. And as a dad, I couldn't be more thankful to have that opportunity for my son through him, because he's been so unselfish with his time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Absolutely.
Cody, it's definitely props to Cody. He's taken this program from, trying out and starting to obviously a competitive team winning events. And you guys are, a force to be reckoned with. So it's great. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks for having us.
I'm gonna take us out of here. I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, Planet Eclipse. You guys sort of all agree, best markers in the game. Pro Sharp paintballs for some incredible paint. Push for what I believe is the best goggles on the market. Bunker Kings for their top loaders. Powerhouse for the consistent air systems, and Infamous Paintball for their playing gear and equipment. Protective. Foundation. First Form for the supplements, and the Pro DNA protection. Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you guys Friday with Leads.
Hey, everybody. Thanks,
Thanks,
Trav.
guys.
Thanks,
Take care. Thanks.
Thanks,
See you,
Trav.
Callie.
Thanks, Infamous.
the dog was going nuts.
I put my dog in the crate.
The dog was going nuts.
The new puppy.
Dude, this
problem in life was overcoming myself. But once I defeated myself, the only thing left was peace.
Niggas be talking like this shit easy and stuff, you heard me? Nah, nigga, I'm making this shit look easy, you heard me?
Sometimes people think they can be you better than you can be you. Every time they tell you that I'ma beat you the fuck back up, nigga. Took a lot of losses, had to bounce back. She got ass loving when they bounce back. Came back strong, had to bounce back. Applying pressure, watch a nigga bounce back. Pushing, I ball in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Like, what we gon' talk about? Ain't shit to talk about. I pull the calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pushing. Pushing. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. 252 on the ditch, I'm still in the kitchen, I'm cooking a 4 1/2. Pirates the Yola, I add a little soda and bubble, I double the 500 grams. My drunk got tested, how may I help you? I blessed him, I guess he just needed a blast. Not a good looker, but she a good hooker, and I'm about to turn me some trash into cash. Water just gush out, I'm off in the pussy, she needs some more cushion and bought her some ass. Sequel components, Toyota Corolla, I'm hoping the load don't get caught on the slab. Nothing impossible, I had a few obstacles, right back to clocking like I never left. My windows is tinted, my mouth and my watch go to hitting while gripping the wheel in my bed. I'm in 2 lanes, whip is insane, I had to take off the brain. I got some change, travel 2 names. On the Blackberry doing my thing. I've been pushing them things. Pushing, 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 pushing. I've been doing my thing. Pushing, 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 pushing. Yeah. Took a lot of losses, had to bounce back. She got ass loving when it bounced back. Came back strong, had to bounce back. Applying pressure, watch a nigga bounce back. Pushing, I ball in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Like, what we gon' talk about? Ain't shit to talk about. I pull the calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. Yeah. Pushing. Pushing, I'm in his face.
Good job. You gotta stay alive a little bit better in the back. But good plane, right?
Got pinched out by that burrito.
It's alright, you gotta fight, call for air support, dog. I can shoot that way too.
Patrolling is hot. If I get arrested, my bill could be set or whatever. Go right back and open up shop. Him and the jeweler come sit in my session. It look like the Kevin was flooded with rocks. I cut on the faucet, I'm really retarded. I bought all that water and I spill in the drop. You gotta be cautious, I'm clutching your caution. I start for the permanent score on your top. Bought a new fridge, she got a big head like Rihanna. It's cute, I'm not taking a shot. Design on my closet, pick up a deposit on Michigan now when I chill in the shower. I got 2 lanes, whippers insane. I had to take off the brain. I got some change, travel 2 names. On the Blackberry doing my thing. I've been pushing them things. Pushing, 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 pushing. I've been doing my thing. Pushing, 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 pushing. Yeah. Took a lot of losses, had to bounce back. She got ass loving when it bounced back. Came back strong, had to bounce back. Applying pressure, watch a nigga bounce back. Pushing, I ball in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Like, what we gon' talk about? Ain't shit to talk about. I pull the calls on these niggas, I call them out. Pushing, yeah. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. Yeah. Pushing. Pushing, I'm in his face and he think that I'm pushing. Major mistake if you think that I'm pussy. Yeah.
Got you, Jay.
I've been fighting my whole life. I've been through hell. But to understand great peace, you have to have gone through great pain. To thine own self be true.
Fuck yeah! Let's go. Let's go.